Hello, my dear students. Welcome to history class. Today we are going to study chapter 8, the Delhi Sultanate. So, here, students, you can see by the 10th and 11th century, number of small kingdoms they become independent in North India. So, why this happened? Because of the absence of powerful central government. So these kingdoms they used to fight with each other and they lacked political unity. So as a result you can see the Turks they conquer India in 11th and 12th century. So the period between 1206 and 1526 can be seen as five dynasties were raised here. Okay, so these five dynasties were called as Delhi Sultanate. So why it is called Delhi Sultanate? It was called so because the rulers of various dynasties had ruled from Delhi as the capital and they were called as sultans. Next we'll go to the sources here. Sources means information. Okay, so here we get information about Delhi Sultanate from official records, administrative manuals, biographies, autobiographies, chronicles, etc. Okay, so some of the important sources of information are from inscription. So inscription means something written. Okay, something written on the coins, monuments, milestones, tombs, etc. So here in this period inscriptions were written in Sanskrit and Arabic. Sometimes both the languages can be found in the inscription. So for example, the first coin issued by Muhammad Bakhtiar Khilji. So this coin had both Arabic and Sanskrit inscriptions. Next we'll go to monuments. So the rulers of Delhi Sultanate they had built many monuments. So this showed their culture, their living conditions, faith, belief, etc. So in these monuments, the important one was the Qutub Minar in Delhi. So Qutub Minar was started by Qutubuddin Aibak and it was completed by Iltutmish. So Iltutmish was the son-in-law of Qutubuddin Aibak. So historians say that how this Minar got the name Qutub Minar. So for this you can see some historians they argue saying that from Qutubuddin Aibak the Minar got the name Qutub Minar, and some historians they say that Qutubuddin Aibak he had dedicated this Minar to Sufi saint Qutubuddin Bakhtiar Kaki. So like this the name Qutub Minar comes. Okay. So now we'll see after completing the Qutub Minar by Iltutmish. So this Minar it had the height of 71.4 meters and had 4 stories. So this tower it was damaged by lightning in 1369, and after that you can see Firoz Shah Tughlaq he will do renovations and he will raise one more height here. Okay, so now you can see at present the Qutub Minar has got 5 stories here. Okay, so in the picture you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like this 5 minars are there, and even you can see the balconies are there on this minar. So these balconies they are projecting towards the outside. So you can see the balconies here. So these balconies they are projecting outside here, and these balconies they are taking the weight of these minar here. Okay, So the entrance to this Minar is through the northern side, and the Minar is in circular tower, and it is about 13.8 meters in diameter at the base, and you can see the width of around 3 meters at the summit, and inside there is a circular stairs, and it is of 379 steps. So these steps, they are leading towards the top here. And the Minar, they have used red sandstone, marble and grey quartzite, okay, to construct this tower. And even you can see some of the verses from the Quran is also carved on this calligraphy. Sorry, in the calligraphy form, it is carved on the tower. Next we'll see about the slave dynasty. So as I told you earlier, the Delhi was ruled by 5 dynasties here, isn't it? So in that, the first one is slave, next comes Khilji, then comes Tughlaq, Sayyid, and last comes the Lodi dynasty here. So why the name slave dynasty have come here? So the Turkish ruler Muhammad Ghori, he had come to India. He had defeated Prithviraj Chauhan at the second battle of Tarain in 1192, and after that the Delhi, it passed into hands of these rulers here, that is the Turkish rulers. After that, they extended their empire into Gangetic plains and Bihar and Bengal. So later on, Muhammad Ghori, he will go back to Afghanistan, and the places which he had conquered, he will give to a slave called Kutubuddin Aibak. So like that, you can see Kutubuddin Aibak, after the death of Muhammad Ghori, he will declare himself as the Sultan of Delhi. So like that, he will found the slave dynasty. So children, as per the syllabus, you don't have Kutubuddin Aibak to study. So we'll go to the Khilji dynasty here. So the last ruler of the slave dynasty was murdered, that is Kaikubad was murdered in 1290, and after that you can see Jalaluddin Khilji, he will found the Khilji dynasty. Okay, so he later on you can see Alauddin Khilji, he proclaims himself as the Sultan of Delhi. So like that, the Delhi, you can see Khilji dynasties are coming here. So the ruler is Alauddin Khilji here, and when he became the king, he faces so many rebellion from Mongol side. Okay, so Alauddin, he tried to massacre these Mongols, and after that he will conquer the territories of Malwa, Ujjain, Dhar, Chanderi, Mandu. So all these, almost all the North Indian parts are conquered by Alauddin Khilji. And after that, he will be having a strong army, and he also pays the soldiers in cash. Okay, next is market regulations. So Alauddin is best known in the history for his market regulations, because he had fixed all the cost of all commodities such as food grains, sugar, cooking oil, everything was fixed here. Okay, and the market was divided into 3 markets here. One market was for food grains, and another market was for costly clothes, and the third market was for horses, slaves and cattle. And each market, it was under the in charge of Shahana. Okay, and even very strict punishment was given for the cheating and underweighting goods. So children, I hope today's topic is clear to you all. We'll continue our class in our next video. Okay. Thank you children. Have a nice day.